Okay, so for Module 4, D and E, the misconception that I'm going to talk about is the misconception of the type of problem and the tool that we're using for that problem. And what that means is you can have the subtraction tool in a joint problem. And I think the reason that children have this misconception is because whenever you hear the word join or separate, you want to automatically either add your components in a join problem and subtract your components in a separate problem, when you could have different tools. Even though the type of problem says join or separate, you can use a subtraction and join, in addition, and a separate. And I think the reason that they have this misconception is whenever you hear the word join, you just want to automatically add all of them. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into our problem. I'm doing option B, which is the multi-step problem. And so our problem is Jack has 14 tennis balls. He went to Walmart and bought 20 more. Jill had no tennis balls, so she went to Walmart and bought 53. How many more tennis balls does Jill have? The first thing that we need to do in our problem is identify which two types of problems that we're using. So for this problem, we're using a join and compare. And the reason that we're joining is because Jack already had some, then he went and bought some more. So we need to join those two, and then we need to know how many more Jill has, which means that we're going to compare. And so with that being said, so now that we have our two types of problems, we're going to start off with our join. So in our join problem, we need to join Jack's 14 to his new 20 tennis balls. And so to do that, we're going to cut some strip diagrams. And we're going to need one strip to represent his 14 and one to represent his 20. And so now that we have, this one's going to represent his 14, so we're going to glue this one on. And this one is going to represent the 20 that he bought, the 20 new ones that he bought. And so we're going to get these in here. And we know our first amount is the 14 that he already had, and our second one is the 20 new ones that we bought. So since we're joining these two, we're going to use the tool of addition. So we know that Jack has 34 tennis balls. And so now that we have our join under the now that we have what we're joining and we have the total amount of tennis balls that Jack has, we're going to move on to our compare. So when we're comparing, or what we're comparing is Jack's 34 tennis balls to Jill's 53. And to do that, we're going to have to make once again, we're going to use purple for Jack, and we're going to have to make sure that our strip for Jack is the exact same amount as we had up here, and it is. So we're going to glue down this one for Jack, and we know this one is 34. So we're going to label it Jack 34. And then now we need one for Jill, and we know Jill has 53. So we're going to represent Jill's 53 in green. And we're going to say this distance, or this strip, equals Jill's 53. So let's glue this down. So we have Jill's 53. but what we want to know is how many more Jill has than Jack. So in order to find that, we're going to need to find what the amount that would fill in this right here. And so to get our amount that we're looking for right here, we're going to have to subtract Jill's 53 from Jack's 34. And we're going to start off in our ones place. And we can't subtract 3 from 4, so we're going to have to regroup and make our 5 into 4 and break down one of our 10s into 10, what would be, if we were using base 10 blocks, break down one of our 10s into 10 single units, which would be making that 13. And so 13 minus 4 is 9. And then we know 4 minus 3 is 1. And so that gives us the answer of 19. And 19 would be the number that would fit in right here. And so that gives us our answer to our problem, that Jill has 19 more tennis balls than Jack.